Anthony, a very good afternoon to you. Thank you for your time. So why has President Weah been unable to get a handle on corruption in government and indeed the worsening economic situation?
I think there's a combination of several factors. It's a combination of several factors. The president, say in 2018, when he was inaugurated, that he was corruption and hopes were very high, that he was certainly done so, but more than a year and a half in power, it seems that he's losing his grip on power in terms of the fight against corruption. He reportedly told a meeting with opposition figures last year that he couldn't fight corruption because everybody was interrelated. I think the problem is he's not been able to match sincerity and commitment with the promises he's made. He's made a lot of promises about fighting corruption, but in the eyes of many people, including his critics, they think that it's just yet another Liberian president who comes to the stage or to the presidency and makes a big promise about fighting corruption, but in practical sense, is failing to do so. Just a few weeks ago, the president, in a nationwide address to the nation, said that he was going to ensure that audits were initiated covering the last 10 years of previous administrations. That played to the liking of his administration officials and also to the liking of his base. But the key thing is that people think he hasn't been able to ensure that people who are around him who are accused of corruption, for example, or mismanagement of public funds are prosecuted. For example, one of the things that prompted last week's protest was the alleged misapplication or mismanagement of $25 million infused into the economy last year to help mop up excess liquidity. His finance minister and the bank governor were the ones who were at the forefront of the mop-up exercise. But the issue of accountability remains a challenge. His critics have said that he hasn't been able to ensure that the two, including others who are on the technical economic management team, face prosecution for alleged corruption. And the irony about the whole thing is that the justice minister, just before the president's speech, had said that no money went missing. And there were two investigative reports. The findings talked about discrepancies. One report was conducted by the PRT, the Presidential Investigative Team, and then another one was conducted by Crow Associates, an American firm. And they found out that there were a lot of discrepancies. The Justice Minister then said afterwards that the Liberian Anti-Corruption Commission, which was part of the PRT that investigated the alleged mismanagement of the money, should also be able to investigate, to review the matter and investigate further in the vast ministry. Statutorily, the LDCC does report to the Justice Ministry. So if the Justice...
Anthony, I want to come in here and ask you about another issue because we are a little pressed for time. Apart from the economic situation, there's been a great deal of concern in Liberia about the Weah government's ability to deal with acts of violence against women, rape in particular, as well as the issue of war crimes, where many of the citizens feel that not enough has been done to bring the perpetrators to book. Why has the government not made satisfactory progress on that score?
Well, maybe because some of the people who supported Weah for president are themselves warlords. They're accused of gross human rights violations. For example, Prince Johnson is a senator of a populous region, Nima County. He was very instrumental in making Weah to become president. It could be that factor. Explicitly, the government has not come up definitively to say whether they are for or against the War Crimes Code, but their action seems to suggest that they are reluctant in approving the code. And there is test for justice in Liberia. People want justice. They want accountability for alleged war crimes. And I think the government is seemingly trying to scapegoat the fact that people are aggrieved. Every time you hear government officials speak, publicists of the administration, they always say, well, there are developmental initiatives that we need to undertake right now as opposed to approving the war crimes code. But you speak to ordinary citizens, they are very aggrieved. Generally, there are mixed views in the public in Liberia about whether a war crimes code should be set up at this moment.
Okay.
Talking about the issue of rape, yes, it's prevalent. The Ministry of Gender, Children and Social Protection has been able to release statistics about incidents of rape and sexual gender-based violence in the last few weeks. And most of the county, the most populous region in Liberia, tops that list. So it's an issue that the government has been struggling to deal with. There have been awareness campaigns carried out, but the result does not seem to prove that the government is winning the war against rape and other sexual and gender-based violence incidents.
Anthony Stevens, a Liberian journalist speaking to us from the capital Monrovia this afternoon. Thank you so much for your time.